I'm Lizzie Harrison for Card Player TV, and today I'm here with Tony Rivera. How's it going today?
It's pretty good.
So Tony recently won the $10,000 buy-in mixed event here at the World Series of Poker. That's 8 different games. Do you always consider yourself to be an all-around games player?
Not always. When I first started playing, I started playing mostly Limit Hold'em about 5 years back, and as I gradually transitioned from the online games to the games at the Bellagio and Commerce, I realized that in order to play the biggest games and to have the most success, you had to be well-rounded, and so I started picking up the other games a couple years ago.
So do you normally play cash games at Bellagio and Commerce? That's how you make your living as a poker player?
Right, yeah, I'm a professional, and I play mostly the mixed games, but I play whatever game is going, whatever game is good.
What limits are you usually playing?
Mostly 200, 400, 400, 800.
So what prompted you to buy into this tournament? Was it because it was a mixed tournament?
Well, I was really excited about it. You know, it's my best 8 games, and as it turns out, this is the first year they're doing it. It sounded like it'd be a good challenge and a lot of fun, so I decided to come out, and it worked out well for me. So
how'd the event start off for you? Did you just have smooth sailing throughout the tournament, or?
Not really. It was a lot of up and down. The new structure that they have is a lot better.
The 8 games? Or excuse me, 8 hands?
No, the way the chips... or the way the levels go up, rather, because in the past, a lot of these tournaments, the limit tournaments especially, had been where you would play and the first 4 hours would mean nothing, and then in the 5th or 6th hour, you'd play 1 or 2 pots, which decided your fate. But now you can, have a great run in the first level or 2, and for me, it was basically struggling to hang on the entire time and trying not to get into any big pots, rather, avoiding like the no limit pot limit rounds more, and trying to play to my strengths, which are the limit games.
The limit games?
Yeah.
So the other players in the tournament, I would think, probably thought that their pot limit and no limit skills were ahead of their limit games. Were you able to take advantage of that also?
Right. I am mostly a limit player, and everyone plays the no limit and
so you had the edge.
Feel all arounds pretty well. But a lot of these players weren't even sure of the rules of some of the games.
Oh wow.
Even going late into day 1, people still thought that an ace was a good card in deuce 7 triple draw, and so
definitely to your advantage.
Yeah, because of this, no one wanted to tell them, and I worked out for the best for all of us. And no limit and PLO, those mistakes aren't going to be as costly. No one's going to think the deuce is the best card.
Even though you don't play a lot of poker tournaments, you must be familiar with a lot of pros in this event because they play the big mixed games. Is that true?
Right. I played with a lot of the pros that were in this event, and a lot of the ones that were at the final table, too, a lot. I'm real familiar with all their games. I'm not sure how much they know about me, but I really felt that I had an advantage in that I'm really good at breaking down the other opponent's play and trying to play against it as best as possible.
So where were you in chips going into that final table?
I was 5th in chips. I had 277,000 out of 4 million, and I was able to double up the very first hand off Tom Dwan when I flopped a set of queens in PLO.
Oh, and he had the kings, right?
Right.
And he called you down. And so what was Tom Dwan doing at the final table? I heard that he was playing a little bit recklessly. How would you evaluate his play?
He was playing pretty crazy. He wanted to run over the table, and so he was open raising a lot and playing a lot of hands and trying to outplay everyone. And as it turned out, he lost a couple of races, and so all of a sudden when he lost a lot of his chips, he wasn't able to perform the same strategy as well.
So then you knocked him out of the tournament when you had the 3-deuce against his pocket twos. How did that hand happen?
He had someone else had opened, and he had went all in from the button, and so I decided that it was a good chance to knock one of the most dangerous players in the field left out, and so I called and outflopped him.
Absolutely. So what did you think of the play of the other players at the final table? I mean, you have guys like Sammy Farha, Elia Lezra, James Mackey. You familiar with all of them?
Yeah, I've played with most of them. Actually, James Mackey is from my hometown, and he's the only one that I haven't played with. But for the most part, I was really surprised by the caliber of play. Everyone really brought their A game for this tournament, and I didn't really see a lot of mistakes that I would have expected. Everyone played very sharp, very focused, and you could really tell that people were taking a lot of time with their decisions.
What types of mistakes did you expect to see, or maybe what mistakes did you see earlier in the tournament?
People were playing too loose. Some people were misreading their hands. A lot of times people were just playing very weakly with strong hands and not really trying to get tricky. I really felt like in this tournament people were afraid to make bad plays so that they wouldn't make the aggressive plays in limit, whereas in no limit they were over-aggressive.
And why do you think that is? Just because they weren't so familiar with the games?
Right. I think that that's just a natural tendency when you are new to a game or you're a little uncomfortable. You want to kind of, play it
a little
down,
bit passive, yeah.
play passively, and then when in the games that you're most comfortable with, you want to turn up the aggression. And a lot of the players during the no limit rounds and the pot limit Omaha rounds, where a lot of the players were very strong at it, you saw that every single pot was being played, and it was always contested 2 ways, 3 ways, and in the limit rounds, a lot of times it was just a lot of folding.
So at the final table, was there like a turning point for you when you really felt that the bracelet was within your grasp or within your reach?
There was one really big pot in triple draw where on the last draw, I'm drawing 1 to number 1, the wheel.
Okay.
And Mike DeMichelle is also drawing 1 as well to the wheel. And Matt Glanch's Pat. And as it turned out, I spiked the 3, I made the wheel. I won a $1 million pot, which was a quarter of all the chips in play. And, I mean, it very easily could have gone the other way. They're both really great players. And, if I had busted right there, I mean, I would hold no feelings or anything. What can you do? It's poker, and that game is one of the most luck-based of them all.
You got heads up with James Mackey, and then it was one hand. What happened?
Right. Well, basically, he raised from the button. He made it.
This was limit hold'em,
This
right?
was no limit hold'em.
No limit hold'em.
And we both had about $2 million behind, and we're playing 10, 20 blinds. He makes it 75 on the button. I make it 275. He moves all in for $2 million with ace 9.
And you have ace king.
And I have ace king. What a cooler for him, because I wake up with like a real big hand.
Heads up.
Heads up. I had just talked to some of my. A couple of my friends had been sweating me before, and a couple of the really high-stakes no limit guys came over and gave me a little pep talk. And he might have saw that and thought that I was making a move. I know.
Being super aggressive.
Yeah, because I really wasn't playing no limit pretty crazy or anything.
Okay.
And I know the very first hand, when it had gotten 3-handed, and also when it got 4-handed, he had open raised, and another person had re-raised him. So I think that he felt that he had been pushed around a little bit right when the game switched. And he thought, here, this guy wants to take control of the entire heads-up match. And so it's true I did, but I took control of it with ace king.
Do you think if the hands had been reversed and you had ace 9, the hand would have played out the same way?
No, I don't think so. I realized that he's a superior no-limit player, so I probably would have just let it go and tried to play to my strengths. I've heard that he hasn't played much PLO, and I've played a decent amount as well as all the limit games. So
you're going to bide your time.
So I was going to wait until the limit games where I could, exploit my edge.
All right. Well, so what's the next event for you? You're going to be playing a lot of the mixed events?
Yeah, I think so. I play a lot of poker, and so, I just want to get in a lot of hours this World Series. My goal for this World Series was to make $1 million, so I'm halfway there.
You're halfway there, and you have a bracelet. What are you, 22 years old?
22, yes.
Well, congratulations, and good luck at the rest of the series.
Thanks a lot.
Lizzie Harrison with Tony Rivera for Card Player TV.